Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, June 26th, 2021, Saturday, talk about quality, civil field engineering, COVID 19, HSC engineering, HSC engineers' role in COVID 19, in safety, in health, and in ergonomics, environment, design construction methods, contracts, organization, communication, coordination, quality, etc., etc., etc. There can be no one topic that can be talked, that can be conferred in long hours. It's complete miscellaneous field talk, field of engineering talk, and linked to social life of everybody. Very important in one way, and in other way. Professionals all over the world got certain certificates. That's why they are called professionals in whatever title, in whatever branch of education they are. They have certain elite certificates, certain normal certificates, certain licensing certificates, and certain other higher power certificates which communicate to everybody that these people are competent, their performance shall be consistent, their respective works can be reliable. This is what these certificates claim, notify, announce, and that must be clearly valued. But what do I understand also is true that certificates cannot be considered a piece of instrument. We cannot say this is instrument and just watch or look or view or read this instrument and be happy. That is not my assimilation of such certification. These certificates actually communicate that you have to serve this world. You have not only to serve this world, you have to serve this world as an expert, as a beginner, as you can say a master, to serve this world, and in particular in which country you stay. We have named standards, we have named certain requirements, we have named in certain group, we have certain title. That title is called quality, which applies or which must apply to every field, every discipline, every subdiscipline, and every act in profession or otherwise. Quality stands for everyone. It stands for material, it applies to individual, it applies to group, it applies to department, it applies to system, it applies to piece of paper, it applies to testing, it applies to everywhere activity is done, work is done, and even personal conduct of an individual that is witnessed or experienced. There is no place in this world where quality cannot be considered not to be applied. SHE, which is short form, which is abbreviation of safety, health, and ergonomics. Plus ergonomics, environment, and everything. I say safety, health, environment, and ergonomics. This is specific for work, for system, for individual, for group, for concentration, for attempt. Whatever we do, this is found everywhere, though it's not known, but it applies. No one exists in this world. Nobody exists who wants to break leg or break his hand or arm or break his head against a wall. There is no one in this world who wants to stay without safety. Nobody wants to injure self. That's also true. If somebody wants to injure self, that person is called unsound mind. SHE, it may be named or it may not be named on certain document or work. People may name it or may not name it, but it is true that safety applies everywhere. Health is automatically done when you are strong, you are healthy. You don't say I'm healthy all the time. You simply say, okay, I'm fine. Somebody asks, how do you do? You simply say, I'm fine. This doesn't mean fine. This means you are healthy physically, mentally, and you are pleased with whatever position you have. Means in normal way, you can say you are okay. That is meaning of how do you do. And actually it means that you're safe, you feel that you are healthy, and you also feel that you are having acceptable level of environment around you, which keeps you in good mind and in good bodily health. Then there is another science that is called ergonomics, which means you should not be unnecessarily stressed physically or mentally, and you should do in the best possible manner whatever is required. It has long talk about ergonomics, we will talk, but I'm just giving you brief definition. Actually my analysis is different because ERG also can be called certain energy unit. So whatever energy one has to spend, whatever energy on some activity, on some work, that should not go waste. It should be used for work, and at the same time, simultaneously, it should not burden an individual unduly. If I work and I get very tired, that I cannot get up for 2 days, I cannot stand. This means I don't know how to do work. Because if I know how to work, I won't be stressed that much. I should know what precautions how to take during work so that my body is not unnecessarily stressed and strained. Up to stress, I agree. Up to some level of stress, everybody has to pass through daily. But if that stress converts to strain, which people generally don't understand, they always say, I'm stressed, I've been stressed. But when they are strained, it's a cause of concern. Why strain? In applied mechanics, in our material science, we say, I am putting this force on this material or test piece, and I get certain result on this, that this is my force I applied, this is size of this square centimeter or square millimeter of this area. I divide that one and say per square unit this material can take this force, or at this force this is result, that is called stress. So if you work, of course work is force on you, it's a kind of force that you work, and if that force gives you certain stress, I should not mind that, because when I work I have to gain certain stress. And stress is no problem as far as it can be easily digested, it can be relaxed, and it can again, you can say, recharge yourself to do work or to continue work. That is stress. But when so I'm deeply stressed, I don't understand that. No one can be deeply stressed. Yes, there can be strain in your body. If you work too long hours, your physical energy is diminished. You are having reduced energy, and reduced energy means your soul, your body yields to some extent. It gives up that I can't be with you to some extent. And that yielding line, that yielding graph, you can say, that yielding curve, which doesn't stay at that time with you, you can say that can be called strain. For example, I'm saying I'm putting force on this member, some member. By putting my force, it changes its size. This member changes its size. Original size either is reduced or increased. It may be compressed or it may be, you can say, given tension. When I say tension, means I pull it, length has increased, or by compression, length has decreased. You can say that. Now it may be increase in length or it may be decrease in length. There is change, you can say, this is reduction in length and this is extension in length. So if whatever change is there, if I define that change over original length, we call in engineering and sciences, this is strain. So temporarily you can say you are out of working power, you are out of working mind because of strain, and because we are human, it's difficult to digest strain easily until we take rest, relax, sleep, or do something else, and we come out again with sound mind. So to some extent your mind becomes unsound temporarily, momentarily, because you lose concentration because of that fatigue, you can say, fatigue. Why I am giving an example of this? Because it impacts quality and health. If you are not healthy, you are not sound mind, and I can say you are not safe. A state when you don't have sound mind, in that period you can't be safe. Either you need some rest to recoup yourself, to replenish your lost energies. That's very important. You have to, because health has two connections. One is connection with body, whole body, blood circulation, whatever, working of heart, working of whole system, and other function is mind capacity. If your body is impacted upon, it is your mind that can help it. But if mind is also to some extent impacted upon because of strain, you may get headache, you may get something else, some other pain, and you may not feel happy for some moments, for few moments. And there ergonomics come into play. Maybe you have enough energy with you so that you can neutralize your strain and then continue to work. It happens when you practice use of mind. You are concentrated, you concentrate yourself, and when you are having enough mind, enough energy, in that case your SHE cannot be disturbed. You can maintain it even after having a strain. That's what I say. Quality is related to your bodily health also. Quality is related to your mind health. Quality doesn't mean, what you think. I consider quality as a part of life. As a part of life in a way that whatever you do daily, whatever way you live, quality stands there in whatever mode. It may be bad quality or it may be good quality. It may be excellent quality. Quality doesn't mean dressing sense. It doesn't mean way you talk Every point comes into consideration depending on your activities. Sometimes people think, see, he's so smart. He's so smart looking at one's dressing sense. They say, oh, see, guy is very smart, so good looking. But that is not quality. Just that is view. And view is not enough. What is inside that view? If you take section of that, section means details. If you take sections of that and study, you will find that just view is not enough. Everybody has body and mind. We have to see personality of one. We see, oh, what is this person? We have to know about what that person is. It's not name or cloth, it's thinking. It is, application of mind, how one thinks. Can one go to extent where it's required? What level of quality of working that person has? What level of quality of conduct that person has? Of course, energy one may be having, that is supporting part, but in what way, in what totality that individual behaves or conducts, it's very important. If that person doesn't conduct a way it should, I should say that person is not well developed, that person's quality system has not developed yet, that person needs some training or some experience just to learn more. So I just add some times to this quality statement daily or some other time. It says quality plus SHE plus ergonomics. These are required everywhere, not quality alone. I have seen these days our youth, they are not very much, resistive to certain body forces or certain fatigue. I don't know why. I have met many individuals who just complain, yeah, I'm stressed, I am not, I got migraine, I got this problem, and they have no body resistance to nature. They can't digest solar energy, they can't digest walking, they can't digest hot, they want to stay in cool, air conditioning environment. I'm just giving some particularly middle class and higher class examples. I work 12 hours, I work 14 hours, whole day I work, I am given this much work. I'm strained, I'm stressed. See, you have to work. You can't complain that I'm working, this is your job, you're paid for that. And moreover, if you don't work, you won't get job. And somebody is paying you every day, every month, that individual or that company organization also expects that you should be used properly. And you cannot complain that I am doing job of 2 persons or 3 persons. Well, if you are interested, you are doing job. If you are not pleased, don't do job. Stay at home. But you will say, how can I leave them? Yes, that's the question. This means you have certain requirement to do the job. If you don't have that job, you will be in problem. You will face economical conditions. But why to complain? My question is that. See, somebody works for someone else. This is life. Somebody does business. Somebody employs people. And some people very well educated, they are employed because of their skills, not because of their faces or because of their dressing sense. Means your attraction can help you once, but it cannot help you every day. Ultimate attraction comes only from your work performance. If you say I'm very well dressed and my face is very attractive, I look very smart, I shall be welcome everywhere, then I think you are in wrong boat. Face, okay, that is applicable, that is, you can say, good only for saying good morning, how do you do? And once you have complete introduction, then comes to work and not to your face or to your dressing sense. Work is ultimate destination. And how do you work? What is your efficiency? How can you expedite work? How can you program it? All these points come into play. All these points regulate your conduct and regulate conduct of those who are linked to you. So when you say work, I should say not work, I should say quality of work. That's why I say quality in work, quality of work. It is your competency, it is your consistency. You have to prove, nobody else will prove for you. And those who say that I am stressed, I think they are not stressed, they are depressed. They have very big ambitions at very small age. They want to touch skies when they have no power even to go to a mountain. That causes a problem. Gap in aim, gap in goal, and where you stand, that causes a problem. Quality, you have to understand yourself. Nobody can tell what you are. Your quality, your achievements, your experience, your performing levels, your intellectual power, your what level of detective you are, what level of identifier you are. You have to investigate yourself. Nobody can help you in that. You know, everybody knows himself or herself, oneself. I know about myself, you know about yourself. Nobody else can know you better than you. There are so many hidden talents in everybody. People are having so much knowledge sometimes or so much capacity to work, they themselves don't know. But later on they know what they are, what is that person knows, I don't know. But people know you only when you are they come in your contact and they see your performance. Sometimes you may find very innocent face, or you say, oh, this is very innocent face. What personality he may having, what way he is talking, he's silent, he doesn't talk much. You may have that observation of someone, but that observation is not a real one, because when you come in contact with that person and see what style of performance exists with that person, how fast that person is, how efficient that person is, what is knowledge level of that person, what is intelligence of that person, all these you would know only after that person works, performs. Then you will know one day that person is very much smart, to whom you said in the beginning is very innocent, his face is not very impressive, his dressing sense is very not very good. You will have different opinions in that cases at time when you saw that person and that time when you experience that person. So there's a difference between view and experience. Experience means detailed study. Experience means exposure to each other. Some beauty or some level of handsomeness doesn't tell some about someone, because those are cover-ups. Same way, dressing is cover-up. Your hairstyle is cover-up. Your facial is cover-up. What is important is your performance attitude. How do you perform? Are you self-mover or not? Are you self-initiator or not? Or you always seek instructions from someone? That tells your command. If you are initiator, originator, you are self-leader, I think that is best possible alternative for every problem. You cannot measure every work in terms of money, because your work is susceptible to measurement. You cannot say. When I say measurement means physical measurement. When you use mind, it cannot be measured. Remember, if I use mind on my work, I cannot say this work has been done and this is measured value of this work or this is output of this work. I can't say that, because there is no mathematical equation on that. Yes, if there is a mathematical formula agreed for that, then in that case you can compute you can quantify that work and evaluate that. Otherwise, you cannot say that. That's why I say required everywhere, that is quality, SHE, ergonomics, and of course intelligence, which I can't write here because intelligence is intelligence. Intelligence has no limit itself, means you have to raise your intelligence level to whatever extent you want. That is upon you. Nobody can tell you reach that point. It is your own choice. You can move further just to be more and more refined. You can, everybody can. But if you think always that my achievement, my performance must be given equation of value in terms of money, then I think you are not intelligent enough. Not intelligent enough. Because you should remember, when you join school, you don't get money. You get education, you get training, you get knowledge. When you join university, same applies. You get higher level of knowledge. It may be traditional or vocational or professional, whatever sort. That is called learning period. And there's always a learning period everywhere in life. Learning moves on and on and on. It doesn't give you money, but it gives you permanent money, permanent wealth, that you know something that was different when you were in school or college. You are becoming professional now. You have become professional. You have become expert. You have to value yourself. You can't expect more than what is due to you. Sometimes everybody underestimates, or sometimes somebody overestimates. Those who are underestimate, they are different people, because they are not behind money, they are behind performance. And that would pay them some time, because learning period cannot pay you except stipend or some other. You are learning, don't think that you are leader. Everybody starts thinking, see, I am doing that much, I am not getting that much. That is called stupid action, stupid thought. If you do something, you will certainly get for that. But you are learning. You make mistakes. You don't have confidence. You can't say that. Still, you are a professional. You are in profession but not professional. Because professionals are personally responsible for their acts. If you do something wrong and say, okay, I made mistake, I try to cover, that's okay, that's the base of movement, that's part of learning. And once you learned, you cross some level, then to that level or at that level or in confinement of that boundary, you have to work. You even cannot cross that. If you cross that and do something, it's your liability. So that's also part of quality, means conduct, your behavior, and your assessment of your own. Assessment of own is very important. If I complain, oh see, I have worked 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, I work so much for this organization, and this organization is not happy with me, is not paying me this and that. You can't blame organization. You should be thankful to that organization. At least it has given you a platform to express yourself, to work, to learn. And that learning is your wealth. When you do something yourself, you learn. You learn its variance. You learn where you are wrong. How could you solve that? How could you improve that? That's all learning which no university can teach you. And you still complain? But don't forget, that is your wealth, permanent wealth. It will help you in future on other jobs or on same company or same jobs. It will give you more and more input. It will give you more and more integrity of your own. So we should say quality, SHE, ergonomics. These are required everywhere and in every activity in life. And in engineering particularly, these are must. In no engineering you can say, if you go without quality, without safety, health and environment, ergonomics, then you are not an engineer, I would say. You don't understand engineering. This is very important point, that quality is a must, safety is a must, health is a must, environment is a must, and use of energy is a must. We have to understand this point, these very important points. These are only few points. I'm not saying these are all. So I just make changes like this, sometimes thinking on this. You have to ask a question yourself. Means, are you there at this level? Are you having quality in yourself? Look, nobody tells you about your quality. People can observe only. They don't know facts. It's only your product, your work, that defines yourself, that declares yourself. Where do you stand? Maybe you could not express properly, that is different. But one work is not enough to declare about yourself. You have to do repetitions, or you have to do more and more work. Only then people can observe you. Because if you are a normal person, you are doing normal life, you are not doing much, you are means just abiding by your job requirements and getting salary, and you know ambition in life, people don't care for you. People don't care. Oh, he's an ordinary man. Okay, fine, he's working, that's it. But when you are a little different, you contravene requirements, or you make your own way, you work, you don't means care about others, you keep yourself busy, you accept every assignment, you submit those assignments performed, and you don't care for others. Those people don't like you. That's also true. This person is different, this person doesn't talk to us, doesn't interact with us. This comes in time or before time and goes late hours. Why does that? This also pinches everybody, because your approach is positive, your approach is constructive, your approach is forward. You don't care for working hours, you don't for rules, you don't care for salary, you don't care for increase. Okay, you are happy, but those people are not happy because of you. They are in routine, they want to survive, they want to work to only requirement, but you want to work to your own world. Sometimes, even you're not saying anything to anyone, but they listen to you, to your actions, to your conduct, to your body language. They listen to your happiness because you are happy when you're working. You are happy because you work. Those people can never be happy because they work limited. That's the difference. Your quality is multiplied there. Your quality levels are multiplied, and you don't involve yourself in those political or company affairs because you don't have time. If you remain busy, you won't have time. That's very important point. This is what is self-development, self-leadership. Nobody is asking you to do this, but they are giving assignments. Because they know you can work, you don't question much, you don't care about others, you keep yourself busy, you instruct your staff, and you get instructions, and you do that. And others are not interested in that. They just want, okay, fine, I have a job, my contract is this, I am doing that. This is difference between two persons. One person who doesn't want to do such, this person is limited quality. And you, who have got many layers of quality build up, that is different. You are internally pleased, you are internally happy, because you are living for work. Some people call in nowadays workaholic. He is workaholic. Yes, you are. What's wrong with that? If I am workaholic, fine, let me be. You be soft, you be hard alcoholic, you go and drink. I am drinking work. I am drinking tension. I am drinking stress. I am drinking strain. And I am happy with those problematic issues. I can digest them. This kind of environment where you have to drink all this gives you something very specific. And that is called patience. That is called tolerance. That is called, maturity. That you are not impacted upon by something adverse to you because you have got more capacity now. You understand how to analyze something because every work you do, it requires every part of knowledge you have. Sometimes you may not feel so, but that knowledge you attained, you got in, automatically works, and which even you don't take notice of. Therefore, as much as you build yourself, that is your caliber, that is your position. Maybe may not be in this job, maybe in some other job, you shall get result of that. It happens. It's not necessary where do you work you get results. It's not necessary. But if you get results, that's fine. But usually those people who are very forward in work, who are very efficient in work, and who think their work is worship, those people have a lot of enemies, and politics, company politics come in their way, and either they resign or they go away, join some other organization. That happens. I'm just giving the example of quality uplift. You have to uplift quality irrespective of what happens to you. Because if you don't do that, you won't be able to maintain your quality. You won't be able to maintain yourself. That is also true. Maintenance of your quality and safety is very important. That's what I said. In engineering, it's very important. Engineering doesn't mean you're a qualified engineer. This means whatever you do, is all part of engineering. You cannot come out of that. Quality, SHE, these are two elements. Nothing can work, you can say. Without this, nothing can work. You may say that. No way out, and without quality, without SHE, nothing can work. That is true. You can say SHE is very first consideration on every activity supported by ergonomics. It also doesn't mean that when I say very first, that safety first we generally call, it doesn't mean that is top. Keep in mind, I'm not talking that. I'm talking first consideration. You have to be safe. That is company's requirement. That is your organization requirement. That is your requirement. That is your family requirement. And in fact, this is national requirement. Safety first. Consideration on every activity supported by ergonomics. Generally, there is a saying in construction world that no safety, no pain. Only spelling is different. No safety, KNOW. No safety, no pain. If you are safe, if you know how to keep safe, you won't feel any degree of pain. And reverse is also true. If you don't use safety, you don't keep safe, you have to see pain. That's what it says. So in fact, there are how many no's? No, 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 no. There are 4 no's. 2 are NO's and 2 are KNOW's. Both have different meaning. One is do it and one is don't do it. Right? Quality has to be complied with defined requirements. And future does not exist without quality. It exists bodily, not mentally. Quality must be complied with. But what is compliance? What is limit? Where does it go? That is where you have to specify. You have to define what is my requirement. Everything is different. Engineers must realize quality facts. Engineers must realize quality facts. And in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society, or else quality cannot exist. Quality must keep on changing from time to time. Constant status always becomes septic. Some change is a must. Engineering is name of change. If there is no change, there is no engineering. Science brings change by research. Engineering brings change by application, by use of science, by use of knowledge, by use of mind, by use of calculations. Engineering brings change, and therefore there is nothing wrong if we say engineers are change agents. Engineers are change agents. They change living standards, they change working standards, they change thinking standards. So many standards are varied because of engineers. Engineer is always called agent of change, and they do it because engineering is continuation, engineering is research, engineering is development, and engineering is life. When I say engineering, means all branches of engineering in which civil, electrical and mechanical are original engineering. That is also true, because physically saying, mechanical and electrical inputs are a must for some building, for some structure. There is no meaning if these services are not available in those structures. When you have these services, something moves in. If there is no electric supply, you can imagine life without that. If there is no mechanical supply, can you imagine life without that? You cannot imagine. While construction, civil designs are, leads for development. Leads for development. Even a sparrow understands what is home. A bird understands where one has to live. Are we not that even? We require systems. If we require systems, we must have systems quality. Think of there is no system, what life is. Can you imagine? Say there is no system. There exists no system in life. You imagine what sort of quality you will have, what sort of existence of people will have. Systems quality to be devised and achieved, that is a requirement. If you have system which you have generated, this means it should be quality one. You should devise as such. You can modify whatever time. It's your system. Whatever you want to achieve, you can achieve. Broken system is broken. It's brokenly linked. It's broken. It will give you broke only. It shall give you loss. It shall get damages. You can say professionals, individual quality to be amended, or one must be forced to amend its quality for reliability by additional teaching and by additional knowledge dissemination. You have to teach yourself. You have to learn yourself. You have to amend yourself. You have to modify yourself. And you have to force yourself. Nobody wants to force you. You force yourself because you have to become a leader in your own field. You self-teach, you learn more, and you apply that knowledge. relevant element or product define quality to be achieved. Individuals required attitude, quality to be streamlined. Individuals direct dedication to be applied on actions, work commitment to be made and fulfilled for delivery, all other parameters to deal with per requirements. So many inputs in that. These inputs are for relevant element or product, we have defined quality of that and we have to achieve that. That is one part. But that is not last part. This is our definition. We shall claim payment for this. That's why we said work within this limit. Don't go out of this limit. And if you go out of that limit, that shall be your risk and cost. If that work is whether performs better, we'll say fine, this organizer is good one. He delivers better than required products, and that can be called value addition. This person gives value addition products. So relevant item of product defined quality to be achieved. It's not unlimited, it is limited or constant within quality definitions. It is individual that whose attitude should be streamlined, and only individual can do it. Now, individual's dedication to be applied on actions. Individual's commitment, dedication, life you can say, lives from which cover everybody expects something. Individuals require attitude, quality to be streamlined. Individuals' dedication to be applied on actions. Work commitment to be made and fulfilled for delivery. All other parameters to deal with per requirements. Designs of structures and other must be decisive, not imaginative. When we say decisive means based on certain considerations, based on certain parameter inputs, and based on certain performing all time. Understanding specifications, after understanding requirements, they have to start their design and testing actions. Those people, such issues, such requirements are very important. Design of structures and others must be decisive, I say, safe, qualitative, and must be reliable for prosecution. All stages of design being significant. All stages. Everything is significant. But merely design does not suffice. If you say design is okay, no, it's not okay. It's incomplete. If construction and development are not affected to specified marks, required or defined quality cannot be allowed to be ignored. Very important point. If someone in being expert in designs in whatever way, structures or engineering or whatever design, it doesn't mean it is last line. It doesn't mean it is last say. No. Every design stage is important, significant. But alone design doesn't work. If that design is not given construction shape, if that design is not given proper execution, if construction and development are not affected to specified marks, required or defined quality cannot be allowed to be ignored. It's a must. Whatever is drawn, whatever is design and specifications, that this is a must, then it must be achieved. It must be. and if not achieved, you know what happens. Specified marks which are already declared for something, required or defined quality, cannot be allowed to be ignored. Design drawing, design drawings must have quality input and duly coordinated to produce working details, keeping average site working conditions. For site cannot be relied upon automatically, but provide clear notes, specify properly and explicitly. We are in construction, engineer, civil. Construction based on reasonable, coordinated, constructible quality designs. What it says, design should also be quality one. Like every other point we say, every other requirement we say, design also requires that. It should be well coordinated, reasonable well. It should be reasonable, coordinated, constructible quality design, and of course HSC along with moves with it. If your design is based on quality, all seriously is done, that is what is required, because person who doesn't cite cannot be considered to be responsible for lapses in design. All activity must be taken care of, but it doesn't happen. Reasons being lethargy in attitude and undue strains in minds. Why should site work suffer? Because of deficiencies existing in designs. Designs accountability must be fixed. If accountability on constructed product or element is required, design and construction qualities are complementary to each other. And without integrated coordination, activities work upon shall result in quality-less results, shall result in quality-less product. Quality-less product, I should say, rather than results. Construction method statement are a must for implementation. Simple method won't work. You have to implement that, and that's where quality lies in. Unknown concealment of quality, because when you have certain statements, certain sequences agreed, certainly you have to test within that scope of explanation. Construction method statement, a must for implementation. Expression of specific details in convenient format for work, that is called expression of specific details in convenient format for work. Performance and define elaborate performance for, or else no work can be carried out in sequence, or output suffers, resulting in bad standard work. Do you want bad standard work, or you want standard work, or you want above standard? That is your choice. But world accepts you value added work more than what is paid for. When I say method statement, maybe you may not know why I am saying this, because if you follow something, it may be by you or by someone else, method is given. When method is given and is agreed by everybody for execution or prosecution or implementation, this job of everybody to do as such. And if you can do more than that, it's welcome, as far as efforts are concerned, as far as work is better than it was expected. So method statements must be made necessary for activities implementation, or else there are many people, there are many ways, there are many minds, and when publics come into picture, mob comes into picture, there remains no control on anything, and that shouldn't happen. Diverse ways can't be used by site team. Only agreed way or way given on methods can be used. And if you don't, you won't achieve anything. You won't achieve uniformity, you won't achieve consistency, or you say you will waste time. You will waste time without going through steps in method statements. Time is irrevocable, If once you allow it to go away, it won't listen to you later on. When it's with you, it will listen to you. It shall help you. But once you say, no, go, I don't need you, then time is not your servant. It won't stop. It won't help you. It won't come back if lost without controls. And what is unchangeable within controls? That's cost. It's invariable. You can't change it. You can't change it. You can give value to that, or you can devalue. But whatever you did, I'm not saying in terms of units of currency, I'm saying in units of performance. Risks always happen. You will find risks not because of risk or nature, it's because of your own deficiency to some extent that risks come to play. Risks come into play. Risks must be foreseen. Risk must be foreseen for resolutions, for damages are not tenable and must be controlled in advance. Inexperienced engineers may prove inefficient in weaving such risks based emergencies, and therefore thorough deliberations or brainstorming must be conducted based on available data input. Risks must be clearly defined to reach its resolution and to convert to work convenience, or else risk can be very expensive in terms of lives and costs. Risk must be resolved, to be very frankly speaking, it must be resolved to work further. And if you don't resolve it to work further, it will not help you. Reliability, many times I have defined. It must be accessibility defined and achieved. Accessibility. Reliability is safety from all involved factors. It's also serviceability of intended purpose and also durability of its working life and all other involved applicable knowledge area factors. Resources must be understood and achieved. In all procedures, or else one should learn before taking responsibility, and all foregoing issues must be considered along with all possible risks. Analysis, which is completely different world. Analysis are professionally a master tool for work contemplation. Analysis, professionally a master tool for work contemplation. It's an exclusive engineering basis and intellect tool that can penetrate into all problems and unearth required solutions. And there exists no way from where or through which analysis approaches could be avoided. Analysis is a master tool, particularly for work contemplation in engineering and in many other fields. Without analysis, we cannot find something. It's a must. All problems to be understood by this approach. There may be many problems in one problem, and every problem contained in one problem has got an analysis or many analysis. We have to investigate by application of analysis what are problems, and once we understand problems one by one, we shall find solutions to them one by one, and that is where learning lies, that is where knowledge earning lies. Once you understand every problem, its answers, then it's very easy for you, because an analytical based engineering results to apply, and analytical based performance provides a chain of solutions that can be named synthesis. After all, solutions are integrated per requirements of suitability. All solutions network must reach compatibility. Thinking another world, thinking unlimited, and. An only way, if you some time think, what is an only way? And that is thinking. Thinking, contemplation, and must be achieved. Applications are formed by such thinking. Those applications must be done, be affected, and that is what engineering comes into picture. Quality non-conforming product. Quality non-conformist product is called substandard and therefore rejected, but to that specification. It may not be rejected for some other specifications. It is rejected against that requirement which is specified for a particular project. Non-conformance means engineer is either careless or ignorant or incompetent one, and therefore is a redundant personnel. We must change to meet requirements to achieve intended quality standards for universal recognition of products or goods. quality requirements checks being a must. If missing which checks, we have to blame ourselves for quality failure. Engineering means quality application. Engineering means quality application and not simply application. And it is a continuous improvement process. You can say CIQ, continuous improvement of quality. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality levels, because definition of quality is a must, and that definition requires to be achieved, or else work leads to status of being unsuccessful and to be reperformed. So there are two issues now, quality and safety, and safety is represented within safety, health, environment, and ergonomics. So we have to keep in mind always that safety, health, environment, ergonomics, along with quality, must be considered of prime significance, prime important for your status. Because status exists with performance, not otherwise. That point we must realize. And when we realize that point, we can say something is right. So this whole page, which I always renew from time to time, this tells us a lot about quality, health, safety, and all that. Now we shall move to further talk on this very much issue, and that is, that is quality requirement checks, as well as other file there is, and that is building plants, of course, which I think we should be very clear about this and understand it very well. How does it happen? How does it move that we continue on this issue of quality? I'll be back in 10 minutes. You meanwhile can view this. So you must have gone through this, I think. You must have gone through this list, very important one, very important list here. Must have gone through this, it's very true. And now I'll go to speak further on this. In this case, we said that in this case we had choose this is something else also I'm going to give it this. Now this is equipment structure that I'm going to talk about, and also at the same time I'm going to do this plants building, that is building plants as well. We're going to do with that. And I know last time I gave up this plant buildings, which is in this one important point is that about safety. About safety, it's very interesting that it's all buildings and we have to be very careful. In this say that certain safety general it is. I refer to chapter 3, MS12, MS13, chapter 4, MS1, chapter 6, various chapters they are. For general provision of safety discipline, in addition to those included with these various methods, statements in this chapter, there are some 10. MS12, MS13, chapter 4, MS1, chapter 3, let's see which chapter 3, just a minute please, let me see what can we do with that. Chapter 3 here, let me see chapter 3, what it says. It's here, let's see, management, documents, safety, HSC procedures, safety says chapter 3, that is 3, site security, okay. Chapter 3 it says, and it also says that we say, hold on please, chapter 3, MS12, 13, chapter 4, MS1, chapter 6, so let's say chapter 3, MS12, 13, chapter 3, what actually it says, chapter 3, site security, it is about, let me go through this and let us understand what does it mean. Now chapter 3 site security it is, and in this case what does it say, that's also important. MS12, 13, MS12, 13, let's see chapter 3. See, okay, let's see chapter 3 first of all. It says it's regarding site security. Site security is of course very important one, and of course contents the same. The purpose is scope. This procedure includes security arrangements in project sub-site. Also, procedure is applicable to project life camp. No site or life camp can be left without arranging adequate security. No life or camp can be, So it says this procedure includes security arrangements at project job site, also procedures applicable to project life camp. No site or life camp can be left without arranging adequate security. Purpose is that this procedure is to define requirements to be adhered to in order to maintain security at all work locations. All projects camping require to be well secured. All traffic movement on site and camping areas also requires to be secured. Now certain definitions regarding certain terms. Safety means safety, health and environment. Disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting project. Safety means safety, health and environment. Disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting project. Contractor means organization that has won project from client or owner, and subcontractor means an organization that has won part of a project work from contractor organization. Client means an organization entitled company in contractual terms that has entrusted project to organization of contractor. Personnel means all personnel involved on project site activities. Responsibility means job and contract responsibility. Training means training imparted for a specific safety topic on job on project site. Management means organization, top, middle and lower management. Safety manager means a person with job title safety manager deployed by certain organization. Project manager or leader means a person as such with PM title or PL title deployed by contractor. Engineer means a person appointed by owner or client company for an overall project responsibility, or can also be called owner's representative. So there is employer, who is called project owner, and contractor, EPC contractor or construction contractor. Now responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. What are those? Project manager, project leader, responsible for overall obligations to provide schedule, all resources, direction, engineering, resolutions. Site manager or leader responsible for overall site prosecution, management, organization, overworks and subcontractors. Site safety officer responsible for overall safety management or organization on site and report to project leader, site leader, corporate safety leader. Construction leader responsible to arrange all safety related resources and provide site team all requirements. Project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. Site safety inspector, engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and control safety issues. Should bring to site line management, line organization to adopt correct measures. Site floor leader or foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures as standards or as directed. You can say an individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures. In case missing, should bring to site team attention. Now, certain responsibilities, for example, site manager or leader has overall responsibility for security arrangements on site and for implementing this procedure through various personnel appointed for maintaining security of all locations on project. EPC contractor, HSC leader or manager shall liaise and work with subcontractors, safety leader, safety manager, and construction leader, construction manager, for an overall coordination method of implementation of this procedure. HSC leader has direct responsibility for ensuring that requirements of this procedure are met and for advising site manager, site leader of whatever non-compliance. Security officer is responsible for day-to-day implementation of this procedure. Camp leader or camp boss is responsible for camp security. General instructions of security personnel. Security personnel are required to control relevant construction. Security personnel are required to control relevant construction access. Gate as agreed with employer contract requirement. No gates can be left unsecured. Gates either should be closed or well secured. No material or equipment can be allowed to leave project site without authentic documents to be examined by security personnel. No person can enter site or camp without proper identification by security personnel. Security pass where applicable, personal passes. Now, in strict personal passes, in strict project sites, all EPC contractor and subcontractor personnel and visitors shall enter and leave job site only through identified and guarded gates in strict adherence to stipulated safety rules. All personnel shall carry at all times required security passes to be presented upon request. Vehicle passes. All vehicles entering designated restricted zones or in operating plant areas shall at all times have valid security passes. Admittance to camp and project areas. All EPC contractor and subcontractor, personnel and visitors entering camp and project work areas must be in possession of required security passes or identification document, whatever applicable. Personnel shall not be allowed to carry camera of whatever kind unless a permit has been obtained from employer and security police. Security of equipment, tools, materials, camp, site facilities and offices. Security of construction vehicles and equipment, let us say. All EPC contractor and subcontractor construction vehicles shall be identified by individual company sub numbers painted on each vehicle in a sequence of digits. Wheeled vehicles, including equipment, shall be parked at designated approved locations on job site. Tracked equipment such as excavators shall be left at their respective work areas in secure and safe positions. All subcontractor vehicles and construction equipment shall follow same procedure as indicated in foregoing, strictly in accordance with known rules and regulations. Security of construction, camp premises and offices. Construction camp and project offices shall be constructed on a location or shall be established on a location adjacent to main work site or employers assigned and agreed location. Camp shall be surrounded by a security fence provided with access. Security personnel shall surveil surveillance fence from time to time. No person should jump over it, either to ingress or to egress to and from camp without authorization. EPC contractors shall assign day and night security guards at main gates or other such locations as agreed with employer. Duties of security guards are described in this procedure. Camp boss shall be responsible for camp security, shall ensure that records identify all permanent residents and that all camp visitors are logged in and logged out. Site facilities shall be guarded by security guards round clock to avoid unauthorized access to miscreants. All spare keys of camp rooms, messes, recreation rooms, etc. shall be under custody and responsibility of camp boss. All camp rooms, messes, recreation rooms, etc. shall be well secured, locked while not in use. General instructions to security guards. Security guards and all watchmen should remain alert and observe carefully at incidents or acts, whatever shall be happening in assigned area. They shall report all witnessed or reported violations to security officers, who would enforce all orders, rules and regulations as required. Security guards and watchmen shall not leave their posts unless properly relieved or unless required to do so in performance of other assigned functions. In such cases, they shall be promptly replaced. In case when reliever does not turn up in appointed time, security guard shall not leave duty until a suitable replacement assumes charge. In event of an emergency situation not covered by instructions, security guard shall immediately call security officer or camp boss as appropriate for location. Instructions in direct contradiction to general or special orders shall not be followed unless approved by site leader, manager. False information. Security guard or officer who intentionally issues false information or makes false statements regarding assignments and or responsibilities to fellow security officer, supervisor or employer personnel shall be subject to termination. It's though a rare happening, as security guard got no personal interest to inform falsely until self-financial interest exists. Even then, it is a cognizable offense. Gratuities, gratification. Security personnel are prohibited from accepting gratuities, gratifications from anyone for whatever purpose. Offer of gratuities is to be reported promptly to HSE site leader, manager. Statements to news media. Security personnel are prohibited from making whatever statement, any statement to press or news media Such queries are to be referred to site leader, site manager, who in turn shall refer to concerned senior management organization personnel. Public personal relations. Security guard shall use discretion and care in questioning project employees and subcontractor personnel and in handling of possible irregularities. Security guard shall under no circumstances question a person except in presence of a reliable witness. Under no circumstances shall a security guard threaten or assault except in self-defense or coerce in any way any person. Efforts must be made by security guards to positively identify people who refuse to comply with normal security instructions. All such instances shall be reported immediately to security officer or camp boss as appropriate for location. Security guards at all times shall be helpful in their approach to project workforce and their dealings with general public. They are instructed that their workplaces should be clean and tidy all times, that main guard, gate, offices, etc. Security guards shall extend assistance to key personnel during off hours while they work late in case personnel needs some support on request. Photography on site shall only be allowed if prior written permission is obtained in accordance with employer rules and regulations and a permit has been obtained from security police. Following agreement with employer and or its security agencies, it is envisaged that employee ID badges shall incorporate an electronic system to afford access egress to camp for employer, contractor and subcontractors, employees, local subcontractors whose workforce resides outside project security fence shall also be required to swipe and trace access to project at assigned location. When site is located in non-prohibited areas, requirements of many considerations may not work. For example, photographs could be allowed without formal permission, but identification of persons available on site should be recorded as state-of-art practice all over globe from security reasons. Visitors log shall always be maintained as it tells how many persons have been available on site during day. Such information may assist head count in case of fire breakout. This was a statement which gave us site. There is another one in that. This was chapter 3. Now MS 12 and 13 chapter 4. Let me see what is that. Let's see what is that. Chapter 4. What's the other one? The other one is MS 12 and 13. Now chapter 4. Let us see what is chapter 4. It is regarding Hand tools is regarding hand tools. What is scope in this? This procedure is applicable to all projects. This procedure is applicable to all projects, construction sites, ongoing as well as to-go activities, and all all areas of work, including offices, laboratories, workshops, fabrication yards, etc. Purpose of this is procedure is to provide guidelines, enlighten, highlight possible hazards, and define application of preventive measures, precautions during performance use of hand tools. Generally, minor accidents do happen either due to abuse or mishandling hand tools, power tools. Workers are not well informed about resorting to care required for tools proper use in line to manufacturer's instructions. Toolbox talks are not regularly conducted by line supervisors. Certain definitions, again I say, safety means safety, health and environment. Disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting project. Contractor means organization that has one project from client. Subcontractor means an organization that has one part of project work from or contractor organization. Client means an organization entitled company in contractual terms that has entrusted project to the organization of contractor. Personal means all personnel involved on project site activities. Responsibility means job and contract responsibility. Training means training imparted for specific safety topic on job on project site. Management means organization, top, middle and lower management. Safety leader means a person who with job title safety manager or safety leader deployed by certain organization. Project manager, project leader means a person as such with PM title deployed by contractor. Engineer means a person appointed by client or client company for an overall project responsibility and representation. Responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions I already explained. Let me repeat again for better. Project leader responsible for overall obligations to provide schedule, all resources, directions, engineering resolutions. Site leader responsible for overall site prosecution, lead over works and subcontractors. Site safety officer responsible for overall safety, lead safety organization on site and report to project leader, site leader, corporate safety leader. Construction manager responsible, construction leader responsible to arrange for all safety related resources and provide site team all requirements. Project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. Site safety inspector engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and control safety issues. Should bring to sites line management, line organization to adopt correct measures. Site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measure as standards or as directed. An individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures in case missing should bring to site team attention. Responsibilities. Site manager means EPC contractor site manager is responsible for ensuring that all oral requirements described in procedures are well understood and followed, complied with to maximum extent possible. HSE manager, EPC contractor, HSE manager is responsible for ensuring that EPC contractor supervising personnel and all subcontractors supervising personnel are familiar with in all respects about provisions within this procedure. Instructions. Contractor and subcontractors shall not issue or permit use of unsafe hand tools. Wrenches, including adjustable pipe end with socket, shall not be used when jaws are sprung to point that spillage occurs. Impact tools such as drift pins, wedges, and chisels shall be kept free of mushroomed heads. Wooden handles of tools shall be kept free of splinters or cracks and must be kept tight in tools. Power operated hand tools, let us see general. Electric power operated tools shall either be of approved double insulated type or rightly grounded. Extension cords included provided with portable electric tools and appliances shall be made of 3-wire type. Use of electric cords for hoisting or lowering tools shall not be permitted. Use of electric cords shall not be permitted. Pneumatic power tool shall be secured to hose or whip by some suitable anchorage to prevent tool from getting accidentally disconnected. All hoses exceeding 1/2 inch inside diameter shall have a safety device either at source of supply or at branch line to reduce pressure in case of hose failure. Fluid used in hydraulic power tools shall be fire resistant and all hoses exceeding 1/2 inches inside diameter shall have a safety device either at source of supply or at branch line to reduce pressure in case of hose failure. Fluid used in hydraulic power tools shall be fire resistant and retain its operational characteristics at most extreme temperatures to which it is susceptible to be exposed to. Employers well trained in operation of power actuated tools only shall be allowed to operate such particular tools. Manufacturers instructed safe operating pressures for hoses, valves, pipe fittings, and other fittings shall not be exceeded. Tools shall be tested each day before loading to ensure that safety devices are in proper working condition. All tool found not in proper orders, any or all tool found not in proper working order, or one that develops a defect during use shall be removed immediately from services and not used until properly repaired and tested. Impact tools shall not be loaded until just prior to intended firing time. Neither loaded nor empty tools are to be pointed at any employees. Neither loaded nor empty tools are to be pointed at any employees. Hands shall be kept clean, clear of open barrel end. Loaded tools shall not be left unattended. Tools shall not be used in an explosive or flammable atmosphere. All tools shall be used with correct shields, guards, or attachment recommended by its manufacturer. Abrasive wheels and tools. Abrasive wheels and tools. All grinding machines shall be supplied with sufficient power to maintain spindle speed at safe level under all conditions of normal operation and should be equipped with safety guards. All grinding machines shall be supplied with sufficient power to maintain spindle speed at safe level under all conditions of normal operations and should be equipped with safety guards. Wheels must be inspected and dressed properly. Floor and bench mounted grinders shall be provided with work rests, which should be rigidly supported and readily adjustable. Such works shall be kept or located at a distance not to exceed 1/8 of an inch from surface of wheel. All employees using abrasive wheels shall utilize eye protection gear, woodworking tools. Woodworking tools all fixed power driven woodworking tools shall be provided with a disconnected switch that can either be locked or tagged in off position. All portable power driven circular saws shall be equipped with guards above and below base plate or shoe, lever and ratchet, screw and hydraulic. Manufacturer's rated capacity shall be legibly or legibly marked on all jacks and must not be exceeded. All jacks shall have a positive stop to prevent over travel. Compressed air tools. Proper fire precautions should be observed in connection with operation of compressors if housed in a closed building. Adequate ventilation must be provided with exhaust released to atmosphere. Air supply lines should be protected from damage by vehicles. Materials, etc., should be carried across walks and roads, overheads, or promptly replaced or repaired. Air supply hose carried overheads or vertically should be supported with a messenger cable, bridging or otherwise. Earplugs or earmuffs must be worn. In case of continuous exposure to high noise levels produced by compressed air equipment. Manual tools. All tools should be kept in safe working condition. Tools stores with suitable storage racks and bins should be provided. All tools should be kept clean, duly protected against corrosion and damage. Moving and adjustable parts should be lubricated to prevent wear and misalignment. Cutting edges must be kept sharp. Only oil stone or grindstone should be used for tool sharpening. Oil stone or grindstone. When not in use, tools should be stored in suitable boxes or containers or hung on racks. Cutting edges should be protected. You can say tools as that. All tools should be kept in safe working condition. Tools stored with suitable storage racks and bins should be provided. All tools should be kept clean, duly protected against corrosion and damage. Moving and adjustable parts should be lubricated to prevent wear and misalignment. Cutting edges must be kept sharp. Only oil stone or grindstones should be used for tools sharpening. When not in use, tools should be stored in suitable boxes or containers or hung on racks. Cutting edge should be protected. Tools should not be placed where from they shall roll off benches or tables. Heavy tools should be placed where they would not be tripped over. All damaged or worn tools should be promptly and correctly repaired. Temporary and makeshift repairs should be prohibited. Temporary and makeshift repair should be prohibited. Use right tool for job. Weight, size and type of tool should be selected to fit job at hand. All handles should be tightly fitted. Wood handles should be checked carefully and tightened with wedges when necessary. Also should be checked for splitting and cracking. Use right tools for job. Weight, size and type of tools should be selected to fit job at hand. All handles should be tightly fitted. Wood handles should be checked carefully and tightened with wedges when necessary. Also should be checked for splitting and cracking. Most hand tools are conductors of electricity. Extreme caution must be exercised when working around electrical circuits. Insulated and non-conducting tools should be tested frequently under expert supervision. In presence of flammable materials or explosives, dust and vapors, non-sparking tools should be used. Hammers. Head of hammer should be firm, shaft not split, face be true and not chipped. Points of clinched nails should be turned up before drawing is attempted. When a nail has been partly withdrawn, a small block must be placed I have to. And we can say head of hammer should be firm, shaft not split, face be true and not chipped. Points of clinched nail should be turned up before drawing is attempted. When a nail has been partly withdrawn, a small block must be placed under head of hammer. Wrenches. A wrench is a wrench must not be used as hammer. Pipe or Stilson wrenches should not be used as monkey wrenches. Jaw corrugations. Chisels. A chisel should be large enough for job and driven with a hammer of sufficient weight. Use proper chisel for material being cut. A chisel should be held with steady but relaxed grip. Eye should be kept on edge of chisel. Mushroom chisels and cracked or broken chisels handles should be repaired or replaced. Goggles shall be worn when chipping or scabbling, which chippings must land away from person undertaking chipping or scabbling. Both person working and other person may be protected with adequate screening. When sharpening original things. When sharpening, original shape and angle must be maintained. Punches. Now punches. Punches should be straight, suitable and heavy enough for work. Points of center punches should be accurately grounded at all times. Starting and pin punches should be squared. Punches should be started with light caps, light taps, and held securely, especially on rounded surfaces. When knocking out rivets, pin work must begin with starting punch and finish with a pin punch. Screwdrivers. Do not use a screwdriver as a chisel, as a play bar, or for any other purpose than that intended for. Keep tip ground properly. Screwdrivers. Do not use a screwdriver as a chisel, as a play bar, or for whatever other purpose than that intended for. Keep tip ground properly, squared across with square rather than tapered sides. Select screwdriver to fit size of screw. Being driven, do not grind it to fine point to fit all screw heads. Handle should fit shank tightly. Handle should fit shank tightly. Keep shank directly over screw being driven. Do not lean on screwdriver. Do not push with more force than necessary to keep contact with the screws. Hand saws. Hand saws, teeth and blades must be kept properly set and teeth protected when not in use. Saw must be held firmly, cut started carefully, and slowly to avoid jumping of blade. To start a cut, a stripped saw is held at 60 degrees angle with board across saw at 45 degree angle. Cut saw at 45-degree angle. Material being cut must be checked for nails, knots and other objects that may damage saw. Pieces being cut should be held firmly in place. If long pieces are being cut, a helper or a supporting branch should be used. Material being cut must be checked for nails, knots and other objects that may damage saw. Pieces being cut should be held firmly in place. If long pieces are being bent, a help or a supporting bench should be used. Hacksaw. Hacksaw. Correct blade should be selected for material to be cut. Blade teeth should point forward. Blade should be rigid and frame properly aligned. Strong, steady strokes directed, moved away from user should be employed. Entire length of blade should be used for such a stroke. Blade should be rigid and frame properly aligned. Strong, steady strokes directed, moved away from user should be employed. Entire length of blade should be used for each stroke. Thin blade pieces. These directives you can say, thin flat pieces should not be cut from edge to edge and securely clamped. Pliers. Just one place. Coming back. Feeling thirsty. I'll take some water and come back. So never use plier as wrench, is what says. Okay, don't use plier as wrench. Cutting pliers should be used only for cutting soft metals. Never use plier on hardened metals or as nail puller. Pliers should be used only when no other tool can do job. Cutting pliers should be used only for cutting soft metals. Pliers should be used only when no other tool can do job. Picks and mattocks. Picks and mattocks. Handles should be free of splinters, splits and cracks. Head should be firmly affixed to handle. When in use, it must be ascertained that area at rear and on sides is clear when swinging pick or mattock. Shovels and spades. Blades should be sharp. Blades should be sharp and free of jagged and split edges. Handle should be free of splinters, cracks and splits. Trucks, wheelbarrows. Trucks, wheelbarrows, hand trucks and wheelbarrows should be selected for job. Their frames should be strong and straight. Wheels are strong and wheel well secured to frame. Bodies must be kept clean and free from jagged edges. Extreme care must be exercised when using ramps and walkways. Mattocks, picks and mattocks. See. Picks and mattocks. Okay. So we have here. This is about this one now, and the one was here. That was Chapter 6. Chapter 6, that is permit to work. Permit to work is another requirement here, which is, you can see, for all statements. I'm just trying to give this because it's everywhere, it's coming everywhere. So permit to work, let's say scope of this. Permit to work. कहाँ से ले रहा है इसमें थोड़ी ना यार, कहाँ दिख रहा है, पूरा दिमाग खराब हो गया। Yes, it is there. Okay, it's there. Right. This procedure covers implementation of permit to work system to apply to specific temporary permanent construction, pre-commissioning and commissioning works carried out under control of EPC contractor at construction site, including subcontractors' works. Now this permit to work this procedure covers implementation of permit to work system to be applied to specific temporary permanent construction, pre-commissioning and commissioning works carried out under control of EPC contractor at construction site, including subcontractors works. Purpose of this procedure is to provide a safe system of work for construction, pre-commissioning and commissioning activities at project site. Permit to work ensures a control over construction by operating authority in case project is located within its jurisdiction. Live series often run. Live services often run within such area that requires certainly protection from damages due to construction activities. Permit to work assists in performing such preventive measures. Now definitions are similar. You can say but safety means safety, health and environment disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting projects. Contractor means organization that has one project from client, and subcontractor means an organization that is one part of project work from contractor organization. Client means an organization and tied to company in contractual terms that has entrusted project to organization of contractor. Personal means all personnel involved in project site activities. Responsibility means job and contract responsibility. Training means training imparted for a specific safety topic on job or project site. Management means organization, top, middle and lower management. Safety means a person, safety manager, means a person with job title safety manager deployed by certain organization. Project manager or leader means a person as such with PM title deployed by contractor. Engineer means a person appointed by client or client company for an overall project responsibility. Area authority, EPC contractor, authorized person with responsibility for controlling work in a defined area. HSE supervisor, EPC contractor, HSE person designated by HSE manager to implement and oversee permit to work system. Task supervisor, a designated EPC contractor or subcontractor nominated individual responsible for supervising and controlling tasks that requires a permit. Competent person means competent person, electrically competent person who has been approved to isolate, de-isolate electrical equipment up to and including a predetermined voltage. Competent person, mechanical, a competent person who is approved to carry out preparation and mechanical isolation of process equipment. Competent person, pre-commissioning, commissioning, a competent person who is approved as systems engineer to carry out pre-commissioning and commissioning of process equipment. Responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. Project manager responsible for overall obligations to provide, schedule all resources, directions, engineering solutions. Site manager responsible for overall site prosecution management, organization over works and subcontractors. Site safety officer responsible for overall safety organization on site, report to project manager, site manager, corporate safety manager. Construction manager responsible to arrange all safety related resources and provide site team of requirements. Project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. Site safety inspector, engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and control safety issues. Should bring to site line management to adopt correct measures. Site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures as standards or as directed. An individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures in case missing should bring to site team attention. Responsibilities. And just repeating them is already there. Site organizer, site leader, site manager shall have an overall responsibility for ensuring that all works are carried out safely and for implementation of safe systems of works across site. EPC contractor, site HSE manager shall be responsible for implementation of permit to work scheme for site. EPC contract area controlling authority operator shall have responsibility for controlling works in a defined area. Such authority shall be authorized to issue a closed permit to work. EPC contractor project supervisors shall be responsible for raising a permit to work, supervising and controlling works in a safe manner in compliance with requirements indicated on work permit. Instructions. Area authority. Site leader shall appoint inadequate number suitable qualified personnel as area authority for designated works who should monitor and be responsible for all works in respective area including processing application to obtain authorization of permit to work. List of area authorities shall be subject to periodic review, be published on a regular basis to all relevant parties, that is engineer, personnel, EPC, key personnel and subcontractors. HSE supervisor shall endorse copy of each permit and allocate permit a EPC permit control number, top right corner. This number shall be unique for each permit as recorded by HSE leader, manager. Construction work shall be referred to this endorsed number. Details shall be entered into a control log maintained by HSE supervisor. All applicable enclosures, etc., namely construction work method statements, traffic diversion or other relevant document of significance shall be attached to permit. Work requiring permits. A permit shall cover a designated construction work area, activity or areas such as interconnections. It shall be endorsed by all other discipline task supervisors working in area to ensure that all interfaces are covered. Various permit to work shall be processed during prosecution of project scope depending on contract and operator's requirements. Following a specified list of activities covering construction, pre-commissioning and commissioning works have been defined as typical requiring an individual permit to work on control areas, and these are namesake. Site surveys to establish survey marks, mobilization, temporary facilities, existing underground services investigations, live electrical equipment related works, excavations works for foundations and for infrastructure services, underground utilities crossings, overhead work and power lines related activities, heavy lifts for equipment or other structural elements. Interconnects internally as well as externally in plant areas, adjacent operations or work areas, hazardous flammable materials involvement, confined space vessel entry involved activity, hot work involving activity, pressurized pipelines works, live and energized systems and equipment related works, inert systems and equipment related activities, structural works activities, erection work activities. I just refer. These are very important one. Have a real look better. So it is site survey. Let us see site survey, then mobilization or temporary facilities, existing underground services, live electrical equipment, excavations works for foundations or infrastructure, underground utilities, crossings, overhead works, power lines, heavy lifts for equipment, interconnects internally as well as externally in plant areas, adjacent operations or work areas, hazardous flammable materials, confined space vessel entry, hot work involving activity, pressurized pipelines, live and or energized systems, inert systems, structural work activities, erection work activities. Generally, permit to work requirements shall be established either by a detailed review of proposed activity and acceptance of safety method, statement or by carrying out a risk analysis of work to be performed. Method statements and risk assessments, where applicable, shall be attached to authorized work permit application. Permit consideration. Electrical isolation. Area authority shall notify competent person, electrical, carry out necessary isolations or confirm existing isolation before signing permit. Competent person shall complete project specific. Competent person shall complete project specific isolating certificate, attach certificate to permit form and enter isolation details. Isolation test confirmation is mandatory on permit. Lock and tag out procedures shall be implemented in line to comply with project procedures. Arrangements shall be made in accordance with employer's existing arrangements. Mechanical isolation. An area authority shall notify competent person mechanical responsible for mechanical isolation. Competent person shall coordinate with area authority, EPC contractor in preparation of line diagrams identifying spading isolation points. Consideration shall be given to depressurizing and draining down lines equipment in preparation for conducting mechanical isolation. Lock and tag out procedures shall be implemented in line to project specific procedure and where appropriate shall be in accordance with employer's existing arrangements. Pre-commissioning, commissioning after full or partial system handover to pre-commissioning, commissioning that group shall be responsible for all permits issued to construction. External constraints interconnections. Authority to a permit shall be responsible for ensuring that all potential external constraints, namely buried services, adjacent activities, etc., are fully identified, referred upon, permit giving and giving all necessary information to enable work to progress safely. When in doubt, authority shall indicate measures necessary, namely CAT scan to be conducted to eliminate certain potential external constraints which could otherwise pose risk to work. All work shall be subject to compliance with all project HSC procedures. Construction site HSC plan and standard safe practices. Third party permits. Third party permits issued to EPC contractor or subcontractors, suppliers shall be returned at end of each day to EPC contractor area authority. Area authority shall check and confirm that all permit requirements are in place prior to returning permit for work. To continue in design designated areas, protective equipment and precautions. When signing a permit, protective equipment requirements and precautions shall be identified by area authority in conjunction with activity supervisors, HSC representative, and a full compliance with project procedure regarding personal as well as other protective equipment. Vessel entry confined spaces. Entry permit shall only be issued after area has been inspected by safety representative and signed by all relevant discipline engineers. Minimum requirements demand adequate measures to be implemented and responses to emergencies cover all personnel involved on operations. Requirements for confined space are outlined in confined space entry procedure. Gas test. Area authority in conjunction with HSC representative shall decide requirements for gas testing, results of gas test. Gas test shall be performed by HSC department and results be entered on permit or results attached prior to issue. HSC supervisor shall specify requirements for ongoing gas monitoring equipment testing during validity period of work on permit form. Permit application. Application for a permit to work shall be made by EPC contractor or subcontractor in charge, supervisor, who should complete A3 size permit to work format with included information relevant to scope of work to be performed. Permit shall then be taken to area authority and HSC representative for discussion, agreement and signature approval. Area authority shall make necessary arrangements for ensuring that all safety considerations have been made. This shall be ensured by inspecting through checklist and sections containing checkboxes on permit application form. Hazard identification advice nature of hazards that could encounter precautions cared for, advise what specific measures to be adopted, notification to affected persons, officials, titles to be notified for actions. Protective equipment detail out all equipment to be used. Some other precautions required mention specific additional measures. Based on foregoing input, area authority shall determine whether or not applied requirement categorizes under a confined space or under a vessel entry. Area authority shall make arrangements with HSE department for gas tests to be carried out prior to work commences in confined space vessels. Which area deems to conduct a gas test? Area authority shall make arrangements with appropriate isolating authorities for electrical and mechanical isolations who would endorse permit in respective discipline sections. Radiography section to be filled in by competent radiography supervisor. Permits shall be applied as soon as possible, but generally a minimum of 48 hours then radiography section to be filled by competent radiography supervisor. Permit shall be applied for as soon as possible, but generally a minimum 48 hours should prior to commencement of task. Commencement signing on. Supervisor and area authority shall review permit with all necessary precautions to carry out work and supporting documents. When supervisor is satisfied, that sign acceptance of terms and conditions set out on permit for works. On signing acceptance, supervisor accepts responsibility for work area, ensuring that all members of workforce are made aware of conditions on permit to work, using both permit itself and following START system. Area authority shall then authorize transfer of responsibility to supervisor. Form shall then be given to HSE supervisor for permit control numbering and signature records endorsement for implementation. Distribution. Signed permit to work with all attachments shall be copied and distributed as follows: original EPC contractor, subcontractor, supervisor controlling work. First copy area authority, second copy HSE representative. Upon distribution, work covered by permit may commence. Revalidation. Area authority shall approve daily recommencement of work by signing off and notifying time and date of revalidation. In cases where conditions change or terms are not implemented in line to conformance of permit, area authority shall withdraw permit. After conditions are reinstated, application for another permit shall be processed. Suspension of work. All EPC contractor supervisors are to demonstrate a level of control on all permit to work activities, including those of subcontractors. Where breach of permit to work system are identified, EPC contractor, field superintendent, all EPC contract supervisors are to demonstrate a level of control on all permit to work activities, including those of subcontractors. Where breaches of permit to work systems are identified, EPC contractor, field superintendent and supervisory staff shall formally suspend work and sign off permit to work. Upon suspension of work, those responsible for work, subcontractors, etc., shall revisit workplace and formally submit a revised permit to work, allowing at least 24 hours for review and revalidation of permit to work. Application by EPC contractor to subcontractor supervisor. Upon cancellation and suspension of permit to work, subcontractors operatives are to be formally made aware that access to work area is not allowed or permitted until appropriate corrective action has been taken to make area safe, and go ahead for either revision or revalidation, revision of withdrawn permit or issue of fresh one. Upon cancellation, suspension of permit to work, subcontractors operators are to be formally made aware that access to work area is not allowed or permitted until appropriate corrective actions have been taken to make area safe, and go ahead for either revision, revalidation or of one. Work completion, upon cancellation and suspension of permit to work, subcontractors operatives are to be informally made aware that access to work area is not allowed or permitted until appropriate corrective actions has been taken to make area safe, or go ahead for either revision, revision of without permit, return permit or issue of fresh one. Work completion, permit cessation, signing off. When supervisor is satisfied that permit work has been completed or suspended for sufficient length of time to warrant permit closure, supervisor shall agree with area authority and other relevant signatories that work is now complete and has been completed to an extent could become possible. No situation may occur where full scope of work cannot be completed. Example for explanation: a pump has been removed for repair, isolations are still in effect and shall remain so until pump and all connections have been replaced under a different permit. Example: actually, a pump has been removed for repair, isolations are still in effect and shall remain so until pump and all connections have been replaced under a different permit. Supervisor shall ensure before signing off permit that following activities have been undertaken: permit requirement have been cleared, area system is left in a safe condition, materials have been cleared from work location, personnel removed from work site, work area, all necessary personnel have been informed about closure. Supervisor shall then sign off permit to confirm of work completion. Mechanical, electrical, pre-commissioning, commissioning, competent persons shall ensure that all isolations covered by this permit have been removed or transferred. Permit shall then be signed off as appropriate by competent persons. See what it says. Personnel removed from work area. All necessary personnel have been informed about closure. Supervisor shall then sign off permit to confirm work completion. Mechanical, electrical, pre-commissioning, commissioning, competent persons shall ensure that all isolations covered by this permit have been removed or transferred. Permit shall then be signed off. Mechanical, electrical, commissioning competent persons shall ensure that all installations covered by the state permit have been removed or transferred. Permit shall then be signed off as appropriate by competent person. Supervisor shall then take signed off copy to HSC supervisor, who would attach to original permit and sign off original. This permit is then no longer valid for further work. Supervisor shall then take signed off copy to HSS supervisor, who would attach to original permit and sign off original. This permit is then no longer valid for further work. Area authority when begins, permit shall then be signed off as appropriate by competent person. Supervisor shall then take signed off copy to HSS supervisor, who would attach to original permit and sign off originally. This permit is then no longer valid for further work. Area authority shall monitor audio work to ensure then you can say supervisor shall then take sign of okay, this permit is then no longer valid. Area authority shall monitor and also work to ensure timely closure and return of permit. If applicable, permit transference shall be indicated and area authority should then sign off for close of permit. Permit shall then be deemed invalid for whatever future work connected to that permit. Records. Original document of completed permit shall be documented in a master file by HSC manager for history of work carried out. In addition, a register shall be documented detailing permits issues. These documents in some cases may be used in litigation and should be treated as project legal documents. References. Permit to work may be required to cover scope within following activities as a statement. When say permit to work may be required to cover scope within following activity safe method statements. Construction site safe mobilization. Construction site mobilization required HSC plan, records of existing services, site scanning surveys. Do you say? Which are activities? Says construction site mobilization, required HSC plan, records of existing services, site scanning surveys, excavation safety for equipment, site and surrounding services. Safe practices, general and specific methods to be adopted, temporary electrics from where electric supply to be provided, and relevant permissions or precautions. For example, generator to be provided in oil plant area. Hazard control methods to control activity related hazards, working at heights, provision respecting special belts and other equipment, confined space entry, hot work permits, lifting operations, third party certification respecting equipment, Safety assessment, adequacy of provisions. Night working is really essential, and if so, does not disturb residents or others. Safety in radiographic operations, consideration about barricading, radiations, and only authorized personnel in these areas. Now, night working really essential, that's we seen. Safety in radiographic operations, consideration about barricading, radiation, and only authorized personnel to ingress area, scaffolding, complete professional management of designs, personal protective equipment, all possible equipment, including respiratory one, isolation, tagging, and locking. This was, you can say, permit to work chapter. So this was general safety. Actually, I was talking of in this, and I gave it is the chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 6 I shared with you for general provisions on safety disciplines. In addition to those included with various method statements on this chapter, the relevant points should be extracted from description in line to requirements on relevant activities. It is to be noted that safety standards vary from organization to organization, company to company, and client to client. Just consideration of economy on project cannot exclusively be as criteria to avoid or reduce safety measures. A minimum level of safety measures installation should be made. It is to be noted that safety standards vary from organization to organization, company to company and client. Then just consideration of economy in project cannot exclusively be a criteria to avoid or reduce safety measures. A minimum level of safety you can see that here. So many other issues. This was for safety, and we say that just consideration of economy on project cannot be considered a criteria or not doing this. Just considering of economy on project cannot exclusively be criteria to avoid or reduce safety measures. A minimum level of safety measures installation should be made a must for a site supervise to ensure that workforce must work safely. It is preferable to work with acceptable level of safety rather than losing lives of workers. We'll go with this next time. We have gone through certain requirements of quality We are going through quality system and also building plant will continue. Also, this will continue. We'll see how to do that. It's also important. In this case, we had our equipment structures also will do. In this case, we are concreting to our walls of central control building, laboratory, superstructure living. This is a blast building actually. That's why it's important to share with you. It's not an ordinary building because the central control building, a building which controls whole plant, big plant. You may say a plant which is a dimensions of that plant may be 2 kilometer by 1 kilometer, having about 150,000 cubic meter concrete. Many buildings, many areas like process area, then non-process area, or ordinary areas means. This building is located within very dangerous zone. And that's why its inclusion in the stock I thought is necessary. Title is very easy, means we are just going to pour some concrete wall, RCC wall in this building, which is having controls and laboratory. We have to control certain walls, RC walls in this. It's a very important item. That's not done yet. We have to see that into our consideration. Concrete into RCC walls of central control building laboratory. In this again, the scope is same. Purpose of this method statement is to define procedure that shall be adopted for erection of formwork and placement of structural concrete. We'll take up all this in our talk sooner, because safety is such. I'm sharing this information of safety with people because safety and quality are two important subjects. You may call them subjects because these are subjects. Safety is very powerful in beginning because without this you can't work on site, and quality is a complete support, because quality is not a part of safety and safety is not part of quality, but there's quality in safety as well. There's a quality system in safety as well. No. Safety, health, environment, ergonomics, quality, all these are very much important for everyone. Engineer, non-engineer, worker, supervisor, consultant, contractor, all those are involved in safety and quality depending on their skills, requirements. Again, I say nobody wants to be injured, nobody wants to be sick because of safety. Well, might have started long back. Safety is therefore very important aspect of life. Wherever you are, whatever you do, safety first. Think before you make. Very important point is safety. We have to take into considerations of our sources. Otherwise, a problem. We can't move. I'm closing now because I can't pull on further on this. But it's very important point we have to take into consideration. If we don't take care of safety, health, environment, and ergonomics, we won't do better. We will fatigue person means we shall do repetitions only. We will not care for something innovative in works and in safety and in quality. And if we are safe from adverse impacts safety, adverse impacts of COVID-19, we were already passing in advance. We are responsible for that. Government of India, how is possible? The question marks are also there. Responsibility of government also lies in, but doesn't, that's a problem. So you have to be very considerate about this, what to do, what not to do, how to move, and that's very important point. These talks, I started with quality, included safety, then went on to some, like some talks, and that. Therefore, safety is very important point, and we have to keep in mind all time that we have to understand safety, we have to know safety, we have to apply safety, we have to experience safety, and this has to go to each and every part of site, each and every personnel on site. Material is brought, how they handle whatever precautionary measures we have to resort, like swimming pools, sink, and like that, we have to understand all these points. So with this, I can say I'll take up another issue of statements. In this case, let me close it. Thank you very much. I think. कहाँ घुस गई यार ये Where is it going? Eso se lo negras. घुस गया यार ये